Welcome back everyone to another video, and in this video I'm going to be talking about big buyers agents and how they work and how they operate and what it's like to be a client for them. And this video is a bit more casual. It might even feel like a rant, but if you guys want to know about it, stick around till the end of the video and I'll try to explain as much as I can for you guys. And before I get into the video, I want to make sure you guys understand that I have nothing against buyers agents. That's their own business model. They can do what they want, and it's a pretty hard business when you really think about it, and to run it at scale, it's not as easy as some would think. But I do want to break it down so consumers or people who go to BAs to purchase investment properties understand what they get themselves into and how it generally looks like. Now, it may vary slightly between big BA to big BA, but this is generally how they operate or how they tend to scale. Now, does this video apply to small buyers agents? No, it doesn't, right? This is what happens when you're a big BA and when they have systems in place to put you through an assembly line, essentially, to speak. I'm going to break it down for you. So generally, when you come in as a client to a buyer's agent, you will usually come through a cold or a warm lead. You'll come through a referral, or you'll come through an online ad you've seen, or a video you've seen, or you've clicked on a podcast link and it's taken you to one of their sites, and then you've filled out a form and they call you and etc. And usually what I like to call this is pre-sales. Now, pre-sales is a term we use in tech, but I like to bring it into BAs, so to speak, because their job is to sell you on the opportunity, whether it's used to use buzzwords like financial freedom or positively geared or high cash flow. They will essentially sell you on the idea of purchasing an investment property to then achieve financial freedom, so to speak. Now, I guarantee you most of the people that work in a buyer's agent haven't achieved financial freedom. Neither have I, but I'm just putting it out there for you guys to understand. And within pre-sales, you have a couple of people, usually a client success person or an account manager, as well as a property strategist. Now, they will usually take in your introductory call, which will then grab your details and put you into your CRM and pass on those details to a property strategist. Now, your property strategist, or rather I like to call as salesmen, will usually have a strategy call with you. Now, what the strategy call is essentially they will take your criteria or your investment brief, and then they will run you through potential options for you. Types of markets they're looking at, whether you're buying in a trust structure or you're talking to a mortgage broker, or whether you're looking at a high cash flow deal or a negatively geared property or an apartment, etc. They will have the strategy call with you, and they will then take in that information and essentially process it in their CRM and take down all the details to then the research team, and that will take you into the next step. Now, I want to talk a bit more about the property strategist and why it's so important, where it can be a little bit risky as well. Now, the property strategist, and the reason why I call them a salesperson and not really a strategist, is because they get paid commission and they have uncapped earnings. And I'm not going to blatantly call out any one company because a lot of the big BA companies do this. But this is just an ad I've taken off one of the CCATs, so you can go double check it yourself if you want to, right? And they will have something called a property strategist. Sometimes they're on a salary plus commission. Most of the time they are, but they essentially have uncapped earnings. And you may ask me, what do they get commission on? Well, great question. They get commission on each deal they process, whether it's purchasing your first investment property or your second one or your third one, or whether they upsell you to a commercial property deal, which will tend to have higher value, which means higher commission for them. And this is why I call them pre-sales, because their whole job is to sell you on the idea of financial freedom, sell you on buying an investment property, and then continue to tell you to buy more investment properties, because that is their job. Their job is to sell you, not to necessarily strategize, but to sell you. And then they put strategy in there to get you the best outcome possible. Now, some BAs do this better than other BAs. There's nuance to all of this. But this is the reason why I call them salesmen, because they get commission. And when you get commission, they're incentivized to sell you something, not necessarily what is best for you. So you have to be very aware when they talk to you, always put it through the lens that, okay, these people are trying to sell me something. I then have to ascertain whether or not this makes sense for me and my strategy, right? And so after you have the strategy call with them, you'll go into this wait list. And the reason why there's a wait list is because big BAs have a lot of clients. And what I mean by a lot, I mean a lot of clients. They sometimes process 150 deals per month, sometimes more than that as well, which is a lot of properties they have to go through and a lot of clients they have to go through. And the reason why they have a wait list is because they operate on a first come, first serve property. And I'll get onto this bottom point a bit later, right? Whoever comes in first gets served first. And I actually believe in that, because if you take the chance to go with them first, then you should be prioritized over other people who come in later. But there is an implication for that, and you've already seen it. But after the wait list, then you'll be put into the property acquisition team, or the property acquisition team will generally find you the property. And this will include head of property acquisition, someone who runs the department, and then what I like to call cold callers and BAs in quotation marks. Because the people who work in property acquisition team are not buyer's agents, or some of them are not buyer's agents. I can't blatantly say that all of them aren't buyer's agents or all of them are, but a lot of the time they will be cold callers and BAs, people who are good at creating relationships, people who are good at creating connections. They are in this team because their job is to find properties, right? Their job is to find properties, to vet the properties, and to make sure they fit the right strategy of that person or the brief of that person. And that's their job. Their job is to find you that property and then sell you on that property. Now, who tells the property acquisition team what properties to buy or what suburbs to look at? That's the research team. Every big BA will have a research team. And what does that include? It includes the head of research, the person who runs the department, and then what I like to call minions. Now, minions or data analysts or business analysts, their job is to simply look at the data, filter through the data, and then find the locations that are best to consider the risk, the reward, etc. And then they pick the suburbs, and they pick a whole heap of suburbs where BAs will choose to invest into, right? Now, some people have this preconception that, oh, okay, I come in, I work with the BA, I have a strategy call, and then strategy call will lead to a research team specifically looking for a location that fits my exact criteria. No, that's not how it works, right? The research team finds select areas to invest into, whether it's 5 areas, 10 areas, usually 10 areas they choose to invest to. They then build relationships with the property acquisition team through cold callers and BAs and finding the right properties, which then you come along and they have, hey, I have this property for you. Now we will put this property and align it with you and then sell you on that property, right? That's how they operate. They don't operate on the fact that you have a specific criteria, then they go out and find the suburb and then they find the property. No, they have properties already available for you. They just have to serve it to you on a platter like a restaurant, right? And then you go through this whole process. Are you happy with the purchase? Did you actually make the purchase, or did it fail at building a pest inspection, or you weren't happy with it for some reason? And then you go no, and then yes, and then until you find the right property, then you go into settlement, right? And this process can take months, this can take weeks, this can happen in days. It really just depends. And usually the less educated you are about property, the easier this process is. And the reason I say that is because people who are not educated about property investment can be sold anything. And that's a fact. I have seen some terrible deals that have been sold by buyer's agents that people come to me in the community and ask me about them. It's horrible. I just say, no, don't buy it. And then what happens when you do go unconditional on a property purchase? You then start to lead to settlement, right? Now, all of these people don't matter anymore. You're dealing with your settlement coordinator who will handle the process of actually settling your property. Some BAs will actually help you find the right tenant for the property. Some BAs will also help you with renovations for that property. Not all of them will, so make sure you clarify that. And I like to call this post-sale support. And the reason why is that after you settle this property, your property strategist will come into play, and your property strategist will have a follow-up call with you. And this is really important to understand, because now that you've bought the property and you've settled on it, their whole job is to get reoccurring business. Their whole job is to then sell you on the next investment property, right? Investment number 2. Now, is there anything fundamentally wrong with this? Not necessarily, but you also need to understand the lens which they're coming from, because I remember their job or their salary is tied to commission. So they are incentivized to sell you on the next property as quickly as possible. So when they start using as buzzwords and being like, oh, you're on the right path and you can buy another property in 12 months, even though it's probably negatively geared at 4% yield, or they tell you you need to jump in this market now because then you might miss out on $100,000 worth of growth, you need to be very careful, because once they buy you the property, their job is done. They get paid the commission. They don't care about you. So you need to be very careful, because then they will sell you on it. They will send you on investment number 3, investment number 4, and etc. Right? They will keep selling you properties. That is their job. That's how BAs operate. And then they might even get you to commercial property. This will then further incentivize them to buy higher yielding assets or a higher valued asset, which will in turn provides them more commission. So I hope this has given you the idea of roughly what the process will look like when you buy at a big buyer's agent in Australia. Small BAs are a lot more cooperative. They're a lot more flexible. They're a lot more personable. Big BAs, they work on scale and they work on volume. Now, once again, is anything fundamentally wrong with this? No, not necessarily. Because to run a big BA, to run at scale, to run a multi-million dollar company, this is what needs to happen. You need to have systems in place. No big business, regardless of whether it's a buyer's agent or it's a Woolworths, you need to have systems in place to operate and scale at growth. And you can't do that unless you have systems. So there's nothing fundamentally wrong with this, but you need to understand the mindset behind BAs when you get put into this assembly line of a system, right? This assembly line, right? This car is you, and this is the departments. You got property acquisition, you got pre-sale support, you got research team, all helping you buy the same investment or similar investment properties. Now, the problem is with something like this, when you're a big BA, there's a couple of choke points: the wait list and the first come served basis, right? That means not everyone can get a good property. It's just not possible. There are so many BAs out there. There's so many clients out there that it's becoming harder and harder to get a good property from a BA. So you really need to be careful on that front. And please understand that some people in this team of BAs are incentivized as sales staff to sell you on assets. That's the big takeaway you need to have, right? So I hope this video has enlightened you about buyer's agents and how big BAs operate. It's nothing against BAs. It's just the nature of the world. It's a cruel world, but it is what it is. So just be smart about it, guys, right? Don't be a fool. Don't just accept whatever they give you. Be stern and take care of yourself. Till next time, thank you very much.